Hey y'all, 6:45 and it's time to let the old chickens out of their quarantine for their little sunset stroll, as I call it. Yeah, they're locked down, which is easy, just kind of opening the gate. But I got to get out here and get a little scratch for the evening. I have to keep them locked down because I'm tired of planting. Now I done caught up with all those rascals waiting on the Easter snap. Thought I'd get ahead of it. Looked at the almanac and didn't show one this year, so I planted early, and rain and those birds knocked me out. So I guess I'm with the rest of them. It's gonna be a little cool in the morning here in Nacogdoches, East Texas, 44 or so. We won't see a frost, but I guess now everybody is on go for sure to plant. I spent a little time out in the garden today. Was expecting just to be weeding at this time of the year and looking at crops up and about and getting done, but I guess nature had another plan with rain and chickens, but I'm not complaining. MeMaw wouldn't have let me do it quite like I did. I pay attention to the moon on planting most of the time, but with work and things the way they are, you have to kind of sneak it in when you can, and MeMaw wouldn't let me have done it, but I did it in spite of, thinking I could do it right on, because it's the seed, right? It'll come up on its own and like it's supposed to, but there's a time and a season and a reason for the way things are the way they are. And these old purple hulls and cream crowders didn't come up quite as good as they should have. I guess it's a selfish reason. Some of these videos are a chronicle, literally, for me, to be able to go back and refer to what date I planted something. I'm horrible at record keeping, and I try, but I can knock it out of the park, but I got to have those around me that'll help keep the records sometimes. So this is my way of doing that. I paid penance for that error today. The error I'm talking about, when I planted these peas, it was a day off, and the only time I had, but the moon wasn't right for those. And they half sprouted along the row, and chickens got what came up on that other end. And let me show you, well, that sun's gonna mess us up a little bit. A little weedy in here, I gotta replant. Boy, that's a tough thing for me too, because I hate to waste anything. I guess that comes from being a kid and piling my plate up in grade school and sitting down and not finishing, and finally getting to go to bed about 11 because I had to finish the whole plate. That's why I can take my plate to the sink these days, and it's pretty much already washed. But you can see that row has been retilled and replanted. I had peas sparse all the way down it, and today I went ahead and did my penance and took a shovel and pulled up a plant and moved it tight, pulled up another plant, moved it tight. So I've got, that's what I have left over from what sprouted, and that's replanted. But that'll be all right. Learned my lesson about that, I guess. Let me turn this around. Now, this is full of weeds. I'm going to replant this for those that care to worry about it. You can see it's got weeds. It's pretty sparse. Those were planted about, I'd have to go back and look, probably 2.5, 3 weeks ago on the wrong moon sign. And these pintos were planted on the right moon sign about a week ago. So, whatever. Y'all can go willy-nilly if you want to, but I think I'll pay attention to the laws that God spun out so long ago. I'm sure it'll make right on, but if you want to have a good crop, you got to follow the rules, right? I was thinking about it as I was digging up those silly plants today. Most people just tilled it under and kept going. If I had good sense, I guess I'd do the same. That's $3 worth of seed for 3 rows. My time's worth more than that, or I like to think it is. But it was about principle. And that seed came up and beat all the odds of the moon and everything. And I'm like, well, I guess I got to dig it up and move it. So I did. But if I went to the pasture when MeMaw was alive, or my grandfather, for that matter. What are you planting today for, son? Moon ain't right. Well, 'cause I'm off. Well, that don't matter. Your silly job ain't got nothing to do with the universe. Anyway, I was at the convenience store this afternoon and got another life lesson. I had to get a little gas and keeping my distance. I'll tell you a side note about that in a minute, but the takeaway is I was sitting there and filled up, about to pull out right here at the intersection down here, and heard a horn honk, and then another horn honk. Finally, everybody took off. I guess old boy at the front end of the line and been on his phone or whatever, not paying attention. Light turned green. Everybody behind him was mad. Well, I looked up and I heard an old big pickup truck hauling a low boy, and he was mashing on it. He had so much gas in that engine that the whole front end was raised up and the trailer was on the pavement almost. He wanted to let everybody know he was upset. And I watched that idiot go by, and I'm like, wait a minute. That's what I look like when I do that? Yep. That old boy that called and or was holding up the line, he never knew what hit him, never even knew the old boy was mad, but he had to show somebody that he could spend $10 worth of gas in a quarter mile because he was mad. He had to let the mad out. Seen a lot of that these days. I've been guilty of it. The more I thought about it, I was moving those peas at a slow pace and thinking, man, I don't want to be that guy no more. Hope I've changed a little bit, because the old boy that held him up knew no better. Didn't change anything. Just let the anger out. Guess that happens. Sometimes we have to be what good buddy of mine that I worked at Cabela's, love that man. His name's Bill Witten. We're not in contact anymore. I'd love to find him. But he told me sometime, we was talking about different negativity thing and just talking about stuff. He said, you gotta learn to be a bullet trap. I've said this before. Where you take that negative and you absorb it, just like an old Target mound. You ain't got to call nobody and spread it forward. Let it in there. Just absorb it. Try to spread some positivity. Boy knows we sure need it these days, don't we? Yeah. No, at that same convenience store, I was keeping my 6 feet back from the counter, and there was a Bluebell delivery guy up the counter signing an invoice, and the clerk motioned on me to come on up to the counter. I'd have been a foot from the guy, and not that I'm scared about it, just trying to maintain order and respect the rules that we're living in now. And I said, no ma'am, I'll wait. And it hit me just a little while ago. Don't you miss the days last year of worried about getting a Bluebell that might have been licked? 5 months ago, we'd have said we'd been in this mess. Wouldn't have believed you. I was talking to my pastor a while ago briefly. Hadn't seen him in almost a month of Sundays, literally. But, or at least face to face. But he might take a ride out here sometime this week. You talk about some good old country wisdom. That'll be a treat. But had our assistant pastor Gentry out this week and enjoyed that visit ahead of Easter. But we got to listen to the right voices, y'all, I guess. And maybe not always let the mad out. That poor old boy. He's tooling down the road still mad, probably talking about it this evening with his kids about that idiot at the red light. I don't know. I guess time will determine who the idiot was. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I think we're all that sometimes. But maybe we need to use a little temperance and understand that sometimes people just are angry. Let them get it out and give them a chance to be okay. Bullet traps. Anyway, I did get the purple hulls in the ground. And the main reason I say that upper hill is I didn't keep records on which ones I planted last year, and those are harvested seeds. And they made such a good crop I think it was big boys, but I want to be sure. And that whole end of that row, I'm growing not to harvest to eat, but I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to retain those seeds, and that way I'll have it, right? Corn's planted again, and I'm letting the chickens graze a little bit, but if they start trifling out that way, we'll have to do something about it. Tomatoes are looking good. The peppers that I did the other evening are fine. That hay bale gardening, that's something else, y'all. That's kind of a trick. You'd go broke buying enough hay bales to do it, but the 6 I got, I mean, it's some kind of fertile. We'll walk out here and look at those real quick. Call it an evening, do a little roll call real quick. Y'all can sound off where you're at. Turkeys are fine. Still got some chickens hatching in there. After this little old cool spell, we're done with it, so I'll probably be ready to move those turkeys to a little bit bigger spot. But let me turn this around and show you all this hay bale situation. So as you can see, we just planted it straight in the bale. There's a pepper coming on there. I got to worry a little bit about fire ants, but as far as weeds, it's not a concern. Tomatoes coming on there. How about that? Yeah. If I could afford it, I guess I'd do the whole way that way. It's a lot easier than tilling and digging that dirt. There's one of old Ben's leghorns. Y'all been following for a while. Remember that? Over there looking for something. Better stay out of them tomatoes. I know that. We might have chicken for supper. No, everything's good. All right, let me see where y'all at and how y'all doing. I hope you're safe. And boys, things have changed, haven't they? Really have. Looking forward to better days, and I know they're coming. Just have to do what we can while we can, right? All right. I'm getting a little chill out here, actually. I fired up the heaters last night. Kind of felt good. There's Miss Misty up Texarkana Way. Good evening to you, ma'am. She's getting into gardening this year. Sent me a few pictures. That's some good stuff. Things popping out all over, right? There's Aggie. How are you? Joanne's checking in. Winter saying, wait a minute, I'm not quite done. Well, it better get it done tonight, because this is it. Y'all enjoy that cool evening and cool morning, because August is on the way. And I don't know how long all this goes, but I promise you, ain't nothing can stand an August in Texas, virus or nothing. So if we make it there, it's over. There's Steve from Athens, Texas. Margaret's checking in from San Antonio. Mr. Manuel, put on your sneakers and sneak, my man. You were something else, man. There's my Aunt Sharon. How are you? I hope Uncle Virgil's still doing good. If I know him, he's ready to get out there and go to work again on that place. Beautiful place out there. It's family land as well. Looks just like East Texas, y'all. Except maybe a little better if that's possible. A little bit more removed from the road noise. But we'll take it what we can get. There's Charlotte checking in from West Tennessee. Let's see, Maria's saying howdy. How are you? She's doing a little gardening herself. Ron's saying howdy from Fairmont, Texas. Parked all the trucks, sent all home, but we're on salary, still getting paid for the time being. Well, that's good. All right. Easy there, Manuel. Richard saying howdy from San Antonio. Waxahachie's in the house. My pirate buddy down Louisiana way, Miss Chris. Hope y'all are well. Know you've had a trying year already. There's Miss Linda. Saw her pass the other day. She pulled up the other evening. That's what neighbors do. I was out here working in the garden, and it was sprinkling. And, man, she's a dear friend. She stopped by and said, you need to roll your windows up. That's all she wanted to tell me. My windows were down on my truck. She was the one that helped guide me through my first hatch here. And I see him over there acting a fool. That's the first one that was actually hatched here, a chicken on this place. It was kind of cool. I got to take it to see Mom last year in June, I guess, or before June. I guess it was about May. Little old bitty thing, we snuck it in the hospice, and she lighted up about it. But he's still doing good. Good to see you. Gene from Grand Prairie, Texas. Jay's checking in from Sardis, Mississippi. Everything happens for a reason. That's right. Donna Lou Jackson. Well, thank you. All right. Hey, that's good stuff. I'll take that to heart from now on, I promise you. Yeah, no fear. There's Dorothy, gone on late. We'll have to watch the replay. Beautiful day today. Yes, ma'am, it is. And, well, you know what? Speaking of which, there's one of the roosters from Groveton, Texas that Dorothy brought. Look at him. He knows he's on camera, y'all. He's fluffing it out. Go ahead, strut your stuff, buddy. He's like, can I say something? No, you can't. Hey, there's my daughter-in-law, Felicia, checking in. Bella says hi. Boy, I missed that little nugget for sure. Had a birthday. We didn't miss it, but didn't do a video Sunday. But my youngest son, Lance, turned 16, y'all. 16. I texted him happy birthday. He said, yay, finally 16. Y'all remember that? Now his next mark, I guess, is 18. Never make it to 18. Then it's going to be 21. And then it's like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with the birthdays. Love that dude. Miss him too. I told him he needs to get in a raft or a boat or something and come on down at Mississippi, and we'll pick him up yonder way, and he can come help with the garden. Good dude. Old Lance, happy birthday to him. Alexa's just checking in. Kathy's saying howdy. Snow on the apple blossoms here in northwest Arkansas. My goodness gracious. Wow, that'd wreck my whole garden if I had snow out here this evening. All right, Kansas still cold. Whitesboro is checking in. Let me turn around. That sun is just something, y'all. I love these sunsets on this old place. There's Debbie. Christy's saying howdy from Lowry Crossing, Texas. Miss Charlotte down in Trinity. There's my mother-in-law, Benita, checking in. Hope you're doing good. Talked to Dad, I guess. Was it today or yesterday? I think it was today. Anyway, need to talk to him every day. Fort Worth's checking in. Sherry Shaw saying howdy. Not looking forward to the summer, huh? Well, it's coming right on. That's how it works. Miss Lisa Doherty's checking in. Constance, how are you? And I guess that's everybody I can see sounding off. I was talking to my good friend LaDonna Gatlin today about a few things, and just topsy-turvy up there in Frisco. And she shared with me a link to a song I thought I was nailing when I was 14 in my bedroom. An old Dallas Home song. Cool story behind that. May have to get her on here remotely some evening and let her tell you the story behind that song that her and her husband in Dallas Home wrote. That Rise Again. Easter just passed, and that was pretty much a staple at Easter. But always cool knowing these folks and knowing the stories behind the music that defined all of us to an extent. Well, I just done got airish out here. MeMaw used to say that. I guess that's the best word for it. I guess it's the same amount of air all the time, but when it get a little cool, she'd say it was airish outside. Y'all ever heard that? Yeah. Well, I got approval on the goat pen today. The delivery got delayed, but that's been inspected, and we got a few little old things to do, but I think the goats will be coming pretty quick, maybe in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But they're in good hands until they get here. I guess that puppy's going to be a goat dog before it's over with. We'll see how Sissy takes it. She's in there visiting the puppy right now. I'm going to have to let her back out on night watch. But anyway, y'all have a good evening, and might go easy on letting the mad out. Maybe try that bullet trap practice a little more. I got to work on it every day. Guess that's something to do, isn't it? Y'all have a good evening. Be the light. Talk to you later.